What's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to a very special episode of Coffee and Crypto. Today is Friday. We're only a couple of days away from Christmas, and I am so very excited to be here with you today. Because today, as always, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, but we're also going to be taking a quick look to start off the show at EGLD. It's down 20% in the last 24 hours, and then later on in the show, we're then going to be looking at a couple of other altcoins. Let me see here. What are we going to be taking a look at? We're going to be taking a look at Kadena, which is a popular coin that you guys have been asking for a lot, and we're also going to be looking at Luna, the coin behind the Terra Luna project. We got a lot of great content bringing you today, but we're also going to be talking about some of the different on-chain metrics that Bitcoin is currently showing. So one of the things I want to show you is the amount of tether that's being printed over the last couple of weeks, because someone asked yesterday, there is $1 billion worth of tether printed. What does that mean? We're going to break all of that down and more. If you want to know where Bitcoin is going to be moving into Christmas so that you can know how to have those conversations around the second Thanksgiving dinner table, then make sure to stay tuned. I am joined, as always, by TA Tim. How you doing, Tim?
Doing great. My tether holdings didn't go up at all due to that pump.
That's rough.
It was rough, but other than that, my morning's going okay.
That's rough. Well, we're also joined by Smay. How you doing, Smay?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good. I got to see Spider-Man last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Drop all the spoilers for all our viewers.
my
No,
goodness.
I'm kidding. Don't do that.
So guys, no, I'm kidding. So but
They all died.
it lived up to the hype in my opinion. So it was.
I
very
heard it
good.
had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think it dropped to 95.
It dropped to 95,
95,
but
only 95.
all those
okay.
negative Nellies, you know.
That's
But
crazy.
anyways, I would like to, in honor of the Huddle Trophy being won today, I would like to shout out our wonderful Grandmasters.
Ooh.
So I'm going to shout out, first and foremost, Adam Rourke, then Dennis Pizarka, Screwhead, Daniel Walton, Rick4962, Edward Hess, and Matt C. You guys are the MVPs of this channel, and we love you and respect you, and we love you so much.
Thank you guys so very much for super chatting, and thank you so very much for joining, and thank you so very much for supporting the channel and hitting the like button, subscribing, and all the amazing, beautiful things you guys do. And by the way, thank you very much to our viewers, one of which is Kelly, who is now on staff. How are you doing, Kelly?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just so happy to be here. It's great to be here in Florida outside of the New York cold, and
yeah.
I'm just excited about this market and where it's going.
Yeah, Kelly is pretty excited that it is, what is it, 75 degrees outside and Christmas is in a week, but we're also joined as always by tshroom as well. How you doing, tshroom?
I am doing well. Happy to be here. Looking forward to seeing some great chats today.
Boom sauce. Dude, this show just keeps growing. When it started, it was just me, and then it was me, Tim, and Smay, I think is how it started. Now we got 5 people.
It was me and you. Then it was me, and then
Oh
me,
yeah,
you,
and then we added Tim, and Tim was like a.
Tim knew nothing, so I just came on and.
Well, you also didn't have a camera.
Became the voice of the. Yeah,
So
I was just a voice.
you were a disembodied voice.
I was literally just the voice.
You were
of
a
the people.
disembodied voice.
No. You guys are misremembering. By the time Tim was on, we had the camera. I was a disembodied voice.
We had a lot of,
You were the
we had a lot of
disembodied
technical
voice.
difficulties.
I am misremembering. Well, guys,
Yes.
one thing I am not misremembering is how this show is going to go. The first thing we're going to do here is we're going to look at the market pulse and take a look at EGLD. I know a lot of you guys are interested in EGLD. Cool thing that you should know is that both of our people over there at the research table are big fans of EGLD, so I'm going to be asking them some questions. Then we're going to jump into Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at some long-term, short-term price action, and then we're going to dive into some market headlines. We're going to be looking at some bills in Brazil, and there are some interesting things happening in their Senate down there. We're also going to be talking about the Bank of England. They are raising rates, and it seems like some other central banks are as well. When the Fed did, and it looks like the BOE did. We're going to dive into what exactly that means, and we'll look at Ethereum after the top of the hour. And we'll discuss what you need to know to be equipped for those Christmas dinners that you are going to be hopefully evangelizing Bitcoin at. But let's go ahead and get started over here on CoinMarketCap. As you guys probably know, the last 24 hours have been red for Bitcoin. I think what happened yesterday is that Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets rallied on the hype of the Federal Reserve not raising rates. A lot of people think that that's going to be very bullish for the next 20 years on Bitcoin, and even just the next year or two on Bitcoin, because not raising rates is going to lead to more inflation in a roundabout way. It does lead to the damaging of the U.S. economy. And as I tweeted yesterday, anything that is bad for the U.S. dollar is good for Bitcoin. That doesn't go both ways. If something's good for Bitcoin, that doesn't mean it's bad for the U.S. dollar. But if something's bad for the U.S. dollar, in the long run, I believe that it is a good thing for cryptocurrency. And when people see that weakness in the dollar is a thing and present, I think people got excited. But at the same time, as we talked about yesterday on Bitcoin and Ethereum, we need to wait and see and wait for them to prove to us that we're in an uptrend. Yes, they had a bounce, and yes, it looked good, and yes, there were a bunch of cryptocurrencies up 20%, but we did not have bullish confirmation, and that is the most important thing that we can find right now, which we have not yet found. Bitcoin at the moment is currently trading at $46,700, down 4% over the last last 24 hours. Ethereum is down 8%. You can see Solana is down 10%, and Cardano is down 7.29%. I told you guys I'm going to be buying Cardano between $1 and $1.20. It's sitting at $1.21. I'll give it to you. I'm probably going to be buying some Cardano today. Drop a 1 in chat if you'd like to see me update you guys on Twitter if I do go ahead and buy some Cardano. And by the way, make sure to go over to our Twitter and retweet the channel trailer, or excuse me, the Coffee and Crypto trailer over there. It's got almost 40,000 views, and we're helping to spread the word of the show. So if you're enjoying the show, someone else might as well. Thank you so much for your support. Avalanche is sitting at number 9, and Polkadot sitting at number 10. Pretty much all of the top 10 is down over the last 24 hours, but we do have a couple of cryptocurrencies that are up. Yearn Finance is up 28%. It's an outlier, though, because Waves, the next biggest gainer, is only up 6.5%, and it drops off pretty quickly right down into the stable coins. Pretty red day. The whole market seems to be moving together. And as you can see, Elrond and Kadena, 2 of the cryptocurrency projects that we're going to be looking at today, are both down more than 20%. We're going to talk about all of that and more in a little bit, and we're actually going to talk about Elrond right now. So let's go ahead and jump on over and take a look at some EGLD. But while I'm getting my chart up, because I need to go ahead and grab it and put some things up, Kelly, I know that you have been looking into EGLD a lot lately. Can you kind of lay the foundation? What is EGLD? Why are so many people so excited about this project?
EGLD is incredible, essential. It's almost like a cross between a layer 1 solution and a attempt as a replacement of Bitcoin in that it's a store of value, but it has incredible smart contracts that are built on it. It has an incredible DEX that they just recently launched, MyR Exchange, which I think honestly is one of the reasons why we'll see the downward price action right now. They've been doing a number of updates on the MyR Exchange lately. But it's just they're aiming to be the world currency in a sense. And you've done a lot of research on this as well. What would you say?
Yeah. At first, I was impressed. I think their DEX has had too many issues at this point, and it's going to take some time for the market to give their trust back to the MyR Exchange, the MyR DEX. Yeah. They recently launched Ride, so that you can farm and pool Ride to Elrond, which is cool. It's an interesting idea, but there were hiccups with that after they had just had large structural hiccups with the DEX in general. So, we're all looking for positivity in the crypto space. And when projects drop the ball and then drop the ball again, it's not a good look. So if you're not ready to launch a product, don't do it.
Yeah, but they're just incredibly scalable and incredibly low transactions fees. So I think that's the main sort of proponent that's been floating it the last couple years.
Good cop, bad cop here.
But that's really kind of the philosophical question there, isn't it? If you have great technology but it doesn't work, and the customer and the audiences and more importantly the investor loses confidence in your tech, does it really matter how good the tech is if nobody's willing to use it because they don't know that it works? That's the question that EGLD is having to answer itself right now, as the MyR Exchange did go down. I believe it was last week. But let's go ahead and take a look here at the technicals, and then we're going to move into our first intermission here. Check it with the chat and see how you guys are doing here in about 5 minutes. What I want to show you first on the daily chart for EGLD is the 20 exponential moving average. Drop a 7 in chat if you are in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. If you don't know what that is the academy where we teach you everything that I know about technical analysis. And in the academy, we have an entire video dedicated to the 20 exponential moving average. You might wonder, why would you have a video dedicated to one input on the moving average? The reason is because the 20 EMA is a phenomenal indicator for telling you what trend you are in, and it's one that I have been using for over 4 years in my analysis journey. Now, what I want to show you on the 20 EMA here on EGLD is the fact that it had been it had been being used as support for quite some time, and EGLD even was in a rising wedge here that it surprisingly broke bullish out of late last month in November. But unfortunately, this is a rising wedge. They normally break to the downside. This was a fake out. EGLD rallied up to $550, and right around that time, I believe it was right around the 1st of December, right here around $400. That was when the MyR Exchange issue happened, and we saw a major collapse of the price. And I don't say that to spread FUD, but it did drop 50% in 4 days. If that's not a collapse in price, I don't know what is. And over the last 2 days, we tried to rally quite a bit, and EGLD moved up here and tested the 20 daily exponential moving average, and it has currently rejected off it. We have a very long upper shadow here, which is not a very welcoming sign. But the one thing I will point out to you is that depending on how you draw it, I'll show you probably on the 12 hour is the best place to look at it. There is a falling wedge that is in play right now on this chart. So this falling wedge, typically speaking, should lead us to breaking to the upside, but you've also got to keep in mind that we just had the largest volume candlestick that EGLD has ever seen on the 12-hourly chart, and it wasn't green, excuse me, not that we've ever seen, but that we've seen in about 6 months, and it wasn't green, it was very red. We saw a pretty big drop in price. One thing I will mention to you, though, on the daily chart is that right now there is a, I did not mean to do that. I keep doing that. Dragging the RSI over the chart. Have you guys ever done that? Tell me in chat if you've ever done that. It's really funny the weird things that happen when you're trying to do some charting. There is bullish MACD convergence going on right now on the EGLD chart. If we do see that bullish cross, that's going to be a very good thing. That could potentially lead us to finding a bottom somewhere down here around $200. And even if we look at VPVR, you'll be able to see that $200 is a level that you want to be paying attention to, especially up to about 250, because there is a little bump in the VPVR price, the VPVR level right there. Now, one of the final things I want to mention to you on EGLD before we move into our first intermission here is the fact that the volume has jumped significantly on the 4-hourly chart, and this means that a lot of people are buying the dip. Now, unfortunately, the people that were buying the dip also seem to have sold this little rally, because just as fast as we went up, we're coming right back down. So the large amount of volume here indicates to me that a lot of people are trying to get into this project, maybe because they want to deal with the staking, maybe because they want to try the MyR exchange, maybe because they want to be involved in EGLD, they see something technically, but there are also a lot of people selling this project, and I think you would be wise to be careful here. The final thing I'll mention to you is this. There is bullish RSI divergence that shows up on the 4-hourly chart, downtrending level of support right here, uptrending level of support right here on the 4-hourly chart RSI. What's my conclusion on EGLD? It is a promising project with seemingly good technology that, as Kelly said, maybe should have waited to launch a little bit more before it got until it was more ready. So with that said, let's go ahead and move into our first intermission here. Check in with the chat. I think we have a couple super chats we can read. And stay tuned, because we're going to be jumping into Bitcoin here in about 5 minutes.
I think we only have one super chat. And it's, I answered it in chat, but I'll answer it again here because it is for me. It is from Tal Armin saying, is Tim singing the intro song? It sounds like him.
Yes, it is. I'm joking. It's not him.
It is not. No,
It's the beard.
I do sing. But I don't think my voice sounds anything like. It's funny. Maybe that's what my talking voice sounds like. I actually get accused. You would think that a big guy like me with this beard, that I would have a very rich, like low voice. Some people actually make fun of it because I'm a brother to. I have 3 other brothers, and they're all. Let me put it this way. They are the opposite of me. They are tall and skinny. I'm short and stocky. And yet I'm like the tenor, and they're all like basses and like baritones.
No,
so,
Tim actually has a relatively high voice when he's talking, but when he sings, he goes like an octave higher than that.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. So no, that is not Tim singing.
That is not me.
But I would like to start a petition in chat for Tim to sing a new intro song for us. Maybe we can get a custom-made intro song that you can sing for us, Tim. Come on.
Shmay and I were working on a.
Why don't
Shmay, I drank something in the liquid.
Why don't you
Shmay and I
sing
were
for us
working
right
on a
now?
new Christmas ditty.
Ooh.
Why don't you sing for us right now?
Let's hear it.
Why don't you sing?
Come on, Tim.
No.
Yeah,
Come on, Tim.
I
don't you
don't
sing?
respond to pressure.
Come on, Tim.
You know, this is what has
Why don't you
ruined a
sing?
lot of our young stars these days, is that people push them into the spotlight too soon.
Oh my
Let me
gosh.
take my time.
You've been singing and playing guitar for like 20 years.
Hey, why don't you sing for us?
Why don't you sing?
Why don't you
Guys,
sing for us?
drop a like on the video if you'd like to hear Tim sing. My man's got a voice. I tell you what, Tim sounds like angels coming down from heaven. It's incredible. We got to hear him sing sometime.
I'll tell you what. If we get 2,000 likes on this video, I might sing.
You know we're going to
Sing
get
us
2,000.
out.
Tim, we've
why
gotten
don't you sing
2,000
for us?
likes on every stream for the last 2 weeks.
I don't mean like total. I mean 2,000 like while we're live. I'll do it. 2,000 likes before 10:15.
Okay. That's
I'll
a goal right there. 2,000 likes before 10:15.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since those are all the super chats, let's kind of go back to this EGLD thing. I actually want to ask, tshroom this because I know you've been invested in working in the EGLD space. Do you think that right now is a good time for somebody to try and get into EGLD, work with the staking pools and everything? Is now the time?
I mean, on one side of the argument, you have the buy low, sell high. EGLD's low, right? Time to buy. But I mean, honestly, so EGLD is definitely not the MyR DEX. The MyR DEX is a different entity. Obviously, they're very closely connected, but they're not the same thing. So the coin itself, EGLD, you know, it has a much larger vision. I was just reading one of their lead devs, Twitter, and I like what they said they're attempting to jailbreak the simulation. So there's a lot to that. That's an interesting approach.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it, you know, so they have a big vision. But I mean, if you can't do the small things, can you do the big things? You know, that's kind of the question I'm asking myself.
It's almost like
yeah, go ahead.
with great power comes great responsibility, wouldn't you say?
Gosh.
Yeah. And one thing I'll note is type of issues that I'm experiencing with EGLD on PancakeSwap. And I don't like saying that. I'm not like a pancake swap fanboy.
Well, let me ask you guys: if EGLD is having issues and somebody's looking for a service like what EGLD provides, where should they go?
Are you asking me that?
I'm asking both of you that.
The answer would be pancake swap. I mean, Sunday swap is coming out for Cardano.
Sauce.
And there's a lot more. I mean, Uniswap isn't.
But I think in that regard, though, you're speaking specifically of the farming options within the EGLD, which is MyRDEX. But just EGLD as its own blockchain with what it aims to provide, and on that front, I think they're quite solid. And on that front alone, I don't think the detriment that's coming from the sort of fallibility of the MyRDEX really says an incredible negative thing about EGLD, although they are very, basically in tight partnership and they work under the same umbrella. However, in regards to just chart patterns and formations and what's going on with the price, it is a good spot to pick up for that reason. But being that it is so tied to MyR Exchange, if they do continue to have issues, you could have further price. But this is case in point why, even with a lot of the slow playing that's happened on Cardano, this is a perfect example of why Cardano is moving slowly, because they're moving slowly on their back end, so they don't have these type of issues.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway right
Well, let's go ahead and jump onto Bitcoin here, because as you may have noticed, Bitcoin is down a little bit, and people, I'm sure, want to know what's going on here. Let's jump onto the daily chart for Bitcoin. Just so happens we're moving into our Bitcoin segment anyway. We're going to start here on the daily, and I'm going to give you kind of overlay of what's going on with Bitcoin. As you can see, it is down here around $45,000. What have we been saying for the last 2 weeks? The bottom might not be in yet. There's still high volume. We need the shakeout to happen. The whales are going to try and push the bottom down. So we're going to break all this down. In the next 20 minutes, you're going to walk away with a much better understanding of where Bitcoin is and where it's going. Make sure to hit that like button. Let's go ahead and take a look at the daily. One of the main things you need to know on the daily chart for Bitcoin is that there is a downtrending level of resistance in play, and there is a horizontal level of resistance in play as well. If you guys don't know, I generally have red meaning resistance, rojo, and I generally have blue meaning support. And as you can see, we have a downtrending trend line right here and a flat level of resistance right here. We're nowhere near either one of them, though, because Bitcoin has been dropping for the last 24 hours. Jumping down here into the 4-hourly chart, we're going to come back to the daily chart and take a look at some of the technicals. There's some very important things going on there, but I do want to show you the short term. Taking a look down the 4-hourly chart, we are currently riding the we're riding the downtrending level of support that Bitcoin is above. And when you see this drop happening on Bitcoin, you might think, oh my gosh, the floor is falling. Not necessarily, guys. We're pulling back down to the same trend line that we talked about yesterday. This downtrending level of support is actually very important. And if we take a look here at the 4-hourly chart on the RSI, you can actually see that there is an uptrending level of support on the RSI as well. So if we manage to hold our support level right here, then essentially all Bitcoin did was show that the bottom seemingly is somewhere around $45,000. Play out this RSI divergence, and this could give us the strength to push back up above our downtrend and to that flat level of resistance that we discussed a little bit earlier. Another thing I'll mention to you down here on the 4-hourly chart is that Bitcoin is currently in a falling wedge. Falling wedges, as you know, typically break to the upside with about a 70% likelihood of occurring. But going back to the daily chart, there are several things I need to update you on that have taken place over the last 24 hours since we last convened. The first one is the daily chart MACD. This is sad. This is really sad, guys. Play like the world's smallest violin. We almost got a MACD cross. We almost had a bullish one. In fact, yesterday we did have a bullish MACD cross, but as of today, it has not occurred. This is what I told you guys yesterday. Look, one of two things are going to happen. Either we are going to cross bullish or we're not going to cross bullish. I was hoping that we would cross bullish, but the other scenario in that outcome, the other outcome in that scenario is obviously that Bitcoin could have had a drop, which is what is occurring right now, and that could push the MACD down. If you'll recall to yesterday, I said that if we do drop lower on the MACD, it is going to be like we're pushing deeper into that trampoline so that we can springboard higher with more momentum, and I think that that is what we're going to see happen. We saw something similar happen back on the 2nd of December, where it looked like we were going to have a bullish MACD cross, but if you take a look at the 3rd of December, guess what happened? Bitcoin dropped substantially, so we pushed lower. What have we been able to do for the last week and a half? Because we pushed lower, we've been able to buy lower. I remember when Ethereum dropped from what was it trading at? Like $400, somewhere around there. It was trading at about $400 last year, and then it dropped all the way down to about $80, I want to say, during March of last year, and everybody was freaking out. Actually, Ethereum was sitting at $300, and it dropped all the way down to 91. And I remember right in here, I was like, okay, I guess I'll buy the dip. Like, I'm kind of freaked out, but I guess I'll buy the dip. I'll buy some Ethereum. I don't like it because I think we might go lower. And that Ethereum that I bought a bunch of it, is up 3,500% in 2 years. That is what buying the dip can look like if you buy the right dip. And I firmly believe that the technicals are stronger, the fundamentals are stronger on Bitcoin today than they ever have been in the history of this market. If you guys remember Top Hat Guy, drop a 1 in chat. I'm trying to find the chart we were doing our analysis on. Here we go. We're over on the daily. But like I said, down on the 4-hourly chart, we are looking at a falling wedge, and we do have reason to believe that we could see a little bit of a break to the upside, but I think there is manipulation going on here, and we're going to look at that here in a second because I want to hear Tim's take on all this. And to lead into that, I want to show you guys the volume. The volume was relatively high back over here at the beginning of December. It has been relatively stable according to the moving average, but you can just see from the levels themselves that it has been pushing to the downside quite a bit. The reason this moving average is this high is because of this one big spike. The volume is generally tapering to the downside, and what I think that means is that a lot of the weak hands are getting shaken out, and a lot of the market is resetting. So, as we discussed, I believe it was last week, and Kelly pulled this, so he'll know the statistic. There's something like 32 million wallets in profit right now, and about 9 million wallets at a loss. Is that right? Do you remember that, Kelly? I think that was from one of your tweets.
I don't remember
I remember the number, but it was something like that.
Too many tweets, but yeah, it's.
But the number of wallets in profit was about 3.5 times higher than the number of wallets at loss. And the point I want to make with that is that when you have that ratio of wallets in profit to wallets in loss, what are people going to do? They're going to sell, especially if the market's dropping and they think it's going to go lower, because they want to go buy a Lambo, or, they want to buy a house, or they want to pay for their college, or, they got medical bills they want to pay for. They want to take money out of the market when they're this much in profit. That's why bull markets don't last forever. That's why bear markets occur, because people are up 15,000% and they want to liquidate that and go do something with it. So when we're dropping right here, what we're looking at as the volume goes down is that those wallets that are in profit are selling, which means that the number of wallets in profit is going down, but that helps to reset the baseline of the market, because if you look at the last year and a half on Bitcoin, take a look at what the bottoms have been. We had a bottom down here at $3,800. We had a bottom right here at $9,500. Then here at $10,900. Then we had a bottom here at $30,000. We had a bottom here at $40,000. Now we have a bottom at $42,000. What is happening? The bottoms are increasing. It may seem simple, but to be honest with you guys, some of the most powerful technical analysis you will ever do is some of the simplest technical analysis that you will ever see. And the fact remains that we're seeing higher highs and higher lows. So, where am I going with this? Number one, Bitcoin did just have a drop down to about $45,000. Number two, we are seeing the volume is declining, if not in a large way, but slightly. And number three, we are setting up bullish structure to potentially have a break to the upside in the next couple of weeks that would look very similar to the break that we saw happen at the end of July in 2021. And following that, in the next 116 days, Bitcoin would rally 130% and add $500 billion in market capitalization. So Tim, let me ask you a question, then we're going to look at Market Cypher and Lux Algo over here. Do you think the whales are trying to push us lower? And more importantly, do you think the retail, if that's the case, is supporting this market?
Real quick, what is the price doing right now?
It is sitting around 46,000.
Okay, it's up because we actually had wicks down as low as, what was that number? 45.7, right? But we're back up right now to 46. As far as the whales trying to push us lower, the point of the whales is not to push as low as possible, because in that case, if that was their ploy, why wouldn't they just try to get us all the way down to 10,000 so they can buy a boatload of Bitcoin and have a lot of money? The point of what they're trying to do is shake out buyers and finding out, when have we wasted that supply? When is nobody really interested in investing, so that we can go ahead and jump on all of those selling opportunities? Because there are a lot of people with sell options put, and they're going to be kind of questioning, oh no, the price isn't looking very great, let me go ahead and sell. But we don't have a lot of buying coming in the market. That's what they want to get the market to. As soon as they are sufficed with that, that is when they go ahead and push the buy button, and they buy boatloads of Bitcoin so that they can stock stock their pockets while the rest of us sit here twiddling our thumbs. So the goal that they have is not to lower the price. The goal is to shake out the market, lower the supply, so that they can then make the money, and now the demand will come back in. What's the law of economics? When demand is greater than supply, the price will go up. So that's the first thing of what they're trying to accomplish. Did you have a follow-up question for that one?
No. Well, the thing I really want to get at here is, do the whales also realize what we realize in this room, which is that when there are they basically trying to help establish a floor not only for themselves but also in the retail, so that we don't have to see massive drops down to $10,000 again?
So they don't have to establish the floor. The floor is established by the fact that there are levels where there's so much holding happening, they can't get it to go below that. And that's the whole point of their shakeouts, is they realize, listen, if they could get the price down to 30,000, they would take the price down to 30,000 because they're okay waiting months before we see a massive rally.
Yep.
What they're realizing is this range, these two different levels, and this is a zone of support between about 46,000 and 47.2. That is their zone that they realize we really can't push the price that much lower than that. So that is our buying zone. Let's keep getting the price back into that zone so that we can buy. Let's then give some people some false hope, rally the price up to anywhere between 49. We've even seen wicks touching 52 on the daily chart, but they get it up there so that the average retail investor says, oh, look, Bitcoin's rallying, it's time to buy. And so when those retail investors buy, now they sell, they bring the price back down to 42. And now what is the retail investor doing? Oh my gosh, I just bought at 52 and we're back down to 46. I'm discouraged. I don't want to buy anymore. I'm actually thinking about going and liquidating my entire profile because I can't handle this this price action. I can't handle this worry I have every single day. And that's exactly what the institutions want. That's exactly what the composite man wants, because then they can continue to buy all the stuff you're selling, and then they raise the price. So the answer to that is the floor is around 46. Then they realize it. They realize there's really not that much more we can go down. I mean, look at the other day. We went down to 42 and almost immediately rallied all the way back up to 49 within the same day. That was the indication to these whales, guys, we cannot hold the price down that far. If we want a good buying opportunity, we got to find and maximize that spot. And it is looking at this point like it's semi between 46 and 47.
And the takeaway you guys need to get from that is the fact that over the last 100 years, as the world currencies have been hyperinflated, and I will say that even about the U.S. dollar, because we like to think, oh no, the U.S. dollar hasn't been hyperinflated like the Bolivar in Venezuela, or like the currency in Zimbabwe, or like the German Deutschmark was the name of the currency, I believe, after World War II, after World War I, after the Treaty of Versailles bankrupted the nation. No, that's not happening to the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar has lost 98% of its value in the last 100 years. A house that would have cost $4,500 in 1920 would cost $450,000 today. The U.S. dollar has already undergone hyperinflation, and what that has done is it has led to this culture that is everywhere. You look around and you see it behind every single corner of instant gratification. I might as well spend my money because I'm losing it anyway. You hide your money under a mattress and nobody even has to touch it, and you're losing it because of inflation. That has led to our very, very instant gratification mindset, where we want to know, boom, we bought in 52,000. If it's not at $54,000 tomorrow, I'm just going to sell and I'm going to get out. You know how these whales got rich, guys? You know how these institutions got powerful? They didn't get lucky, and most of them were not chosen. I agree that there are some companies where the people on high, the government says, okay, we want this company to succeed, but the majority of them are there because they know how to play the game. You know what they realize? They realize that that instant gratification mindset that we have all gotten from the debasement of our currencies is the exact opposite way that we need to think if we want to become profitable in markets. What these whales and institutions do is they buy today and they don't care what tomorrow brings, because they're going to hold it for 5 years, guys. I bought Bitcoin 4 years ago that I still have. I've only ever sold crypto out of the US dollar twice, and it was less than 5% of my entire portfolio. I don't sell the tops. I buy the dips and I hold forever. I don't knock anyone that does that, but I just want you to remember that the gate and key to success in crypto is combating that temptation for instant gratification of going and buying a Lambo or buying a penthouse in Dubai, holding onto your crypto, stacking your sats, and being happy with what you have, and then you're going to be extremely wealthy 10 years from now instead of just thinking you're rich right now. With that said, Let's go ahead and take a look at Lux Algo here. Come down off the soapbox for a little bit, and we are going to take a look at this because I actually found something very interesting. I take that back. I didn't find this. I think actually Kelly found this, so shout out to Kelly. I believe we have found something interesting on Lux Oscillator that I'm going to show you here in a second. But taking a look at the Lux Algo itself on the daily chart, I want to show you that we are in a confirmed downtrend. We have a sell signal. Lux Oscillator's trend catcher is red. Lux Algo's trend catcher is red, and Lux Oscillator is red. So we already know that. I just like to lay the foundation there. We're in a confirmed downtrend on Lux Algo. And by the way, if you guys haven't gotten Lux Algo, you need to. There's a lifetime sale going on right now. Won't last much longer. Check the link down below for that. Use coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B, for 20% off at checkout. But the thing I want to show you on the daily chart actually has nothing to do with Lux Algo Premium. It actually has to do with Lux Oscillator Premium, which is another part of the pack. If we take a look at the last couple of years on Lux Algo, let's look at every single time that Lux Oscillator pulled this low. As you can see, Lux Oscillator is sitting down here around 11. You've probably seen these multicolored waves right here. It almost looks like a beach, like looking down from a satellite. It looks like it's showing the different levels. Like, have you ever seen a topographical map? And that's kind of what this looks like, right? It looks like a beach. But what it is increasingly powerful levels of zones of resistance on the resistance up here and the support up here. So it plays in resistance and support. So the further you go to the downside on Lux Oscillator Premium, it actually acts a little bit like RSI and a little bit like MACD in that it can give you overextended signals. Lux Oscillator Premium has pushed all the way down to 12. And let's take a look at the last several times that we pushed this low. Even though we have not gone this low in a very long time, you could even argue that we are lower now than we were in May. Let's take a look at them. We had a dip here on April 26th I want to look at, a dip here on the 2nd of June I want to look at, a dip here on the 21st of July I want to look at, here on the 28th of September 2021, and then also back over here on the 14th of September. These vertical lines will show up on our price action chart, and let's look at what happened whenever Lux Oscillator went down there. In the first case, as we can see over here, we had a pretty substantial dip at the time. I remember this from 12,500 down to 9,800. Seems like a joke now, but that was a 20 or 30% drop at the time. After that, Lux Oscillator said that we were overextended. We went on to a big rally. The next major time that we saw a big dip on Lux Oscillator was here around April 15th to April 20th, 2021. We had a pretty big rally from $48,000 to $61,000. We also saw Lux Oscillator push really far to the downside here around 34,000. Didn't have a rally, but it did eventually come. We traded sideways. Next time, we sat right here, pushed all the way up from $30,000 to $53,000, and the last time that this has happened was back over here right before this rally. 42K went to 69. So what's the point here? Lux Oscillator actually has another way of telling you what the market is about to do, and it has to do with the Lux Oscillator part of the Lux Algo Premium package. Whenever you are this low on Lux Oscillator, you are deep in that trampoline that we've been talking about. You're really deep, and the further you go down, the more potential energy you're storing up, and you're going to explode and rally. So that's why I want to show you on the daily chart. We're having more reason to believe the bottom is in. Even if it's not here in time, I think it's here in price. What do I mean by that? Well, we can see right over here in June, we saw the market pulled all the way down to 34,000. Lux Oscillator bottomed out, but you can see the bottom wasn't for another 60 days, but take a look at what the price was doing. This happened at 34K. The eventual bottom will be 29,000. So it might not be the exact bottom, but it is telling us that we're pretty freaking close. That's what I would say about that. Now, we're going to move on quickly here to the 4-hourly chart. There are a couple of updates here that I want to show you. Let's take a look at this. The first thing to show you is that there has been a red cross on the Lux Oscillator. That means that any inclination that we have that Lux Algo was telling us we were about to go into a rally is now gone, because we need that Lux Oscillator to be green to be in a confirmed uptrend. And of course, we've seen a strong sell signal. I told you guys yesterday I was excited for this buy signal, and Lux Oscillator was green, but the trend catcher was red. We would need to get pretty far for that trend catcher to do anything, and now the trend catcher has actually turned to the downside, which indicates that we may be even more bearish today than we were last week, which does lead me to believe, hey, that $40,000 to $45,000 region that we've been talking about could very easily be in play in the next week. So let me zoom out. Let me break down what we're looking at, and then we're going to jump on to some on-chain metrics. Here's the deal. Bitcoin is trying to find a bottom. We haven't had a massive crash recently. Have you noticed that? We saw one from 57,000 down to 42,000. We dropped, what is that? 27% in 20 hours. That was a pretty big dip, but we rallied and bounced all the way back up to 52,000. We've been gradually moving sideways and slightly down. That means that we are confident that we're close to the bottom, but the bottom is not necessarily in yet. That's normally what that means in a market. I think the bottom is close, but I don't think it's necessarily in yet, and I also don't think it's in yet as far as time is concerned. But what I do think is going to happen is that as we continue trading sideways and slightly to the downside, we are going to continue to build more and more and more recent VPVR support. We're going to continue to build more and more powerful trend lines beneath us. We're going to continue to drop the volume even more, which is going to give the whales confidence that the bottom is in, and we're going to see more and more oscillators telling us that we're overextended to the downside. The further we go, even trading sideways here, guys, at 45,000, the more powerful the argument is that we are going to have a bounce. We might not see just a massive explosion, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, a lot of these whales, if they find out, okay, we're just not going below $42,000 ever again, a lot of the major Fortune 500 companies out there might not have Bitcoin on the balance sheet, but I can guarantee you a lot of their executives do, because they understand the debasement of the dollar, and they understand that they need a hedge that is actually going to be valuable in 100 years, which gold, in my opinion, is going to struggle with, especially as we become a spacefaring civilization that mines gold from asteroids. But that's a conversation for another day. With that said, let's take a breath.
Yeah.
Let's take a breath.
I just want to chime in, even looking at chat. By the way, guys, we're so grateful that you guys are here. You guys are engaging. Sorry some of you guys don't like what we're talking about. Ultimately, this channel is about giving you guys our opinions, but we want to teach you guys how to think. So when you're hearing this stuff, don't just take Jebb's word for, as ultimate fact, or my word or Kelly's word. We are running you through our process of how we think about these things to help you be able to go do your own research to make these decisions for yourself. But if you look at this chat, this is proof right here what the composite man is doing. He wants everyone thinking, guys, we are about to drop out. The composite man, these institutions, they want every single one of us to say, oh no, Bitcoin is about to just drop off the face of the planet. Go ahead and sell now so I don't lose money, so that they can buy all those bags. When I was talking about 46, guys, we're looking at a very small time frame. And I know we touched down all the way to 45.5, right? I said this the other day. Let's let some candle bodies close before we freak out. Wicks do a lot of different things. If you guys have been in Bitcoin for a year now, because I've been in for a little bit over a year, you will know sometimes wicks do very, very, very crazy things, and there's lots of reasons why. What's more important when we're looking at these things is where are we closing our candle bodies at? So tomorrow, if we wake up and we have a candle body closed at 42, I will be the first to say, guys, I am completely wrong. The 46 was not a hard bottom. It turns out we might have lower to go. But until that happens, I heavily think, and this is just based off of research I've done, I want you to go do this research. There's a lot of reason to think wicks can take us down low, but this price action is going to stay in this region. And another reason, we've been talking about volume all this whole time. Guys, look at the volume right now. Look at what is happening, despite the fact we have a little bit longer to go in the 4-hourly chart that I'm looking at. But the volume is not high right now.
No, it's
There's
not.
Actually not a lot of price action.
It's really low.
What this communicates to me is there's just no one buying right now. So any action that's happening is selling. But what I'm wholly expecting, because this is what the composite man wants, is he's waiting and he's watching people freak out. He's watching people say, oh no, I need to sell. And when they see that happen, when they see all these sell options open, they will say, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I'll take that from you. We'll rally this price back up somewhere to around 48,000. And then we'll give this another shot where I can shake out even more of your money. That is what they think about. So if you're sitting here saying, oh my gosh, oh no, Bitcoin's about to lose a lot, you're falling into the trap that they have set and they want you to be thinking.
Absolutely, guys. Well, let's go ahead and move on here to some on-chain data that a guy named Kelly posted. This guy keeps posting stuff that we're using. Have you guys met this guy?
I heard he's handsome.
I heard you did? Okay. Okay. Well, you heard it here first, folks. He's handsome. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at his Twitter because he's got something interesting over here to say. Bitcoin net exchange flows. This is the last 10 years of exchange flow data. I'm going to be very brief on this because we do want to keep moving here. But essentially what we're looking at is that exchange outflows are very high right now. What does that mean? Well, generally the on-chain metric of net exchange flows is used to tell what the sentiment of the market is. Whenever you put money on exchange, you're probably putting it there because you want to sell it. There's not many people that take money from cold storage and say, I'm going to go put my money on exchange to store it. I want to get hacked. That doesn't happen. If you're putting money on an exchange, it's probably because you're getting ready to sell it or to trade it. And so whenever we see a lot of people putting money on exchange, we can infer, okay, at least a lot of these people are probably trying to sell it into US dollars or stablecoins. And if they're taking money off of or crypto off of exchanges, they're probably putting it into cold storage where they are hodling it. So the fact that we've seen so many people taking crypto off of exchanges recently, as denoted in this graph with this line down here, these little, I'm colorblind, I think the red bars down here, that tells us that the net exchange inflows is very much in the direction of people hodling, not trying to sell. That means that there is long-term investor confidence in the market. Now, there are a lot of weak hands in the market that have been here for less than 12 months that join for the NFTs or join for the blockchain gaming, and they're in Bitcoin and they don't really care all that much. There's plenty of people that fall into that camp, but the long-term investors and hodlers are just as strong as ever. Now, I also want to mention this. This is Bitcoin versus stablecoin flow ratio. Someone asked yesterday, what does it mean that $1 billion worth of Tether was printed? Why should that matter? Like, why do people talk about this? Well, there's two things you have to realize. Number one, you can't keep price and supply the same if you want the market to change in valuation. So there's three different metrics that you look at when you're valuing a market. You look at price, you look at circulating supply, and then you multiply those together and you get something called the market cap. If the market cap is going to change, then one of those variables has to change. They can't both stay the same and the market cap stay the same. 5 times 5 is always going to equal 25. You can't make 5 times 5 equal 30. It doesn't work. You have to either change the first 5 or the second 5 to a 6. That's what we're talking about with stablecoins. So the way that stablecoins work is that a central authority, except on the case of Luna, which we're going to be talking about later, will manipulate the supply so that the price stays the same. So what we're looking at here on this on-chain data with this green line above the baseline here, essentially what we're seeing is that the stable coins are minting a ton of money because people are trying to buy into Bitcoin, and the fact that we're seeing a lot of stable coins being minted is indicative that the stable coins are being used for their purpose and that people are going to buy those stable coins. They're going to end up using them and buying this dip and allowing it to go up. And you can just see the historical analysis here. Every single time this stable coin graph goes to the upside quite a bit because more stable coins are being minted, that generally speaking is around the bottom, and people will end up using those stable coins to buy into Bitcoin and go into a big rally. So we saw the same thing happen here in March. We saw the same thing happen here in September and October of 2020. And we also saw it happen here in April of 2020 as well. We're seeing a lot of stable coins being minted right now, and that bodes well for the next 3 months on Bitcoin. But I also do want to mention this. This is called the CBBI Colin Talks Crypto Bitcoin Bull Run Index. If you guys haven't seen this, we've talked about this before. This is basically an index I just wanted to remind you of. You've probably seen us talk about this before. This shows a combination of, I believe it's 11 different technical indicators, on-chain indicators, and whenever this number hits 100, it's been calibrated for it to hit 100 at the all-time high. This is a relatively new index. It wasn't around back in 2017, at least as far as I'm aware. I know it wasn't around back in 2013, but the point is it's been calibrated to give you great insight by using historical analysis. We're sitting at 51 out of 100. This tells us that we are nowhere near the all-time high on Bitcoin, and the reason that I do put a lot of stock in this, even though it's a relatively new indicator and it wasn't built like 10 years ago and predicted these movements, is because it is attached to 2 different all-time highs. So it's not just attached to one all-time high where there's one data point and it can kind of do whatever it wants. It's kind of like on a trend line. If you have one point and there's no other point, you can change it 360 degrees. Let me just show you an example. If you have a trend line like this and you have 1 point, you can do all this. You can kind of go in any direction you want. But if you have 2, you're kind of stuck in one direction. That's what we're looking at here on CBBI. It's got 2 points of data, or 2 data points, 2 all-time highs, so I think it's pretty useful. We're currently sitting at 51. In my opinion, that means that we are nowhere near the all-time high. Now, I want to read a couple of headlines here for you. Number 1, the Bank of England is the first among major central banks to raise rates. Catching you up on what's going on here, central banks have kept rates slammed to the floor because of this Keynesian economic model that says that when you keep interest rates very low, it stimulates the economy, it encourages people to go and take loans and debt, which will help to build the economy and stimulate gross domestic product and the flow of currency throughout the economy. But I want to throw this over to tshroom. Why is it important that the Bank of England is raising interest rates, and why do you think they raised interest rates whenever the Federal Reserve didn't?
The Bank of England is emerging to be somewhat of a anti-hero for crypto and Bitcoin, I believe. There's been some bouts between the CEO of El Salvador and the Bank of England that you can go back.
I love that you say that. I love how you said that unironically. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Well,
that's on his Twitter. If you guys don't know, Nayib Bukele, he says he's the CEO of El Salvador.
Yeah, go check it out. Maybe we'll do some more content on that specifically. But there also was a headline today. UK bans crypto ads on Papa John's pizza. Looks like Papa John's, which, it's questionable why they were doing this, but Papa John's was marketing Coinbase, eToro, and Luno. You'll remember back in history that somebody bought, really early on, they bought pizza from Papa John's. And that was it's currently valued at $600 million.
10,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. That was a Papa John's pizza. That's funny.
Yeah,
that's good for branding.
So Papa John's, PR team has they already kind of broke the seal on associating themselves with crypto, so they have a little bit of liberty in going forward and continuing to do that. But the UK, again and again, three headlines in a row, three major heartbeats, you could say, in the space. Have kind of come out as the anti-hero against crypto. And why would they be doing this? Well, the UK never gave up the pound when they joined the EU.
You're right.
They have since left the EU through Brexit, which is a whole other thing. But the UK is they have their own currency, and it's a strong currency. It's one of the top 3 currencies traded in Forex, and so they want to keep that supremacy. I don't blame them. If I'm in their shoes, I'm going to want to talk bad about this up and coming, way better and way more efficient currency that could challenge my supremacy.
Yeah, well, I think it's very important that we pay close attention to what the central banks are doing around the world, because if you guys don't realize, the central banks control the world. They really do. And the people that control the Federal Reserve and the central banks control the world through that, because we live in a modern capitalistic society, which I firmly believe is the best type of economic system that has ever been invented. It's not perfect, but it's the best thing we have. I am a capitalist, and I'm proud of it. But here's the thing. Capitalism is driven by what? Currency, and it's also driven by economic extraction, refinement, and then also the production of higher things like data and electronics and whatnot. There's a theory that Kelly and I were talking about a couple nights ago, that there are 3 tiers of economies. You look at raw resource extraction, you look at a refinement of those raw resources, and then you look at the things that you do with those raw resources. So you might be creating computers, you might be creating internet. What's the point here? All of that has to be denominated in a currency, so currencies control the entire economy. Who controls the currencies? The Federal Reserve, the Central Bank of England, the Bank of China, the People's Bank of China, I think is what it's called, and all of those other central banks. Here's the thing, though. There is no central bank that can screw you over in Bitcoin, because it was designed for your best interest at heart. Not Jerome Powell, not Joe Biden, not anybody on Capitol Hill, not anybody in UK Parliament, but the reason it was designed to be decentralized was so that you were the one that, 1, had the power over it, and 2, were the one that benefited from that power. With that said, let's go ahead and move on into our next intermission. I want to see what chat is saying.
Yeah, we had a good amount of super chats here, and 2 from some members of ours. Alan Carey's the first one, who's been a member for 3 months now as a Jebb master.
Woo! Thank you.
So, Alan, we love you here. Morning, crypto fam. What's your take on Matic over ETH, please? Cheers. Merry Christmas to everyone. P.S.
Matic over ETH.
Every time Smay throws the camera over to the guys, I hear this in my head. And over to tshroom and Charisma on the sports desk for the replay.
I must confess, I've never once in my entire life looked at Matic over Ethereum. Does anybody here have any thoughts on that chart? I can't.
I can go look.
I can't even find that chart. I'm trying to find it right now. Matic over ETH. Oh no, here it is. That's right. Matic over ETH. Yeah, I see here. I mean, I don't know why you'd look at this chart personally, but I see it.
I mean, if you're wanting to do a trade your Ethereum for,
I guess.
Matic,
I mean, it's in a really weird looking bull pennant, so you might say that it's going to rally because of that, but
yeah, on a shorter time frame.
No, it's on the 4 hourly. Yeah.
Or sorry, I mean a longer time frame.
It's on the 4 hourly.
Yeah, short. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, actually, I know why you might look at it, because isn't Polygon a layer 2 on top of Ethereum? That might be why you would look at that. Actually, that makes sense.
That's actually interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Looking at it denominated in the currency that is built on top of for layer 2 protocols. I'm going to look more into that. That's not a bad idea.
What a world we live in.
What a world. What a strange and wonderful world. Well, let's keep moving here. We have other.
Yeah, I'll go with those other ones. I'll have to go back and look at that chart, because I wasn't finished kind of forming opinions in there. I had the Beholder, who's also been a member for 4 months now as a Jebb youngling. Great question. When Jebb coin?
When Jebb coin? Well, the night I joined cryptocurrency, I made an account named Jebb coin. I'm not going to tell you on what platform because I don't want you going and trying to find me. But July 31st, 2017, that's when Jebb coin.
All right, Terran Crypto said, Jebb, what is your favorite non-stable coin pairing? I think he started, but the T didn't make it in there. I started using Solana over ETH regularly to make swing trades. And then LLAP.
Non-stable coin pairing.
This is a similar question.
It would probably be ETH over BTC. Because
honestly, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be Ethereum over Bitcoin, because Ethereum over Bitcoin tells us what an Ethereum is worth per Bitcoin. I mean, we did analysis on it yesterday, so yeah, I'd have to say ETH BTC.
Well, yeah, Cardano over, like I love
Cardano BTC, yeah. ADA BTC is another one I have flagged, which looks terrible right now.
Helio Z, I think, or Helio Z. Guys, European markets are in the red due to a big spike in the infections across the continent. This is dragging everything else down, including Bitcoin.
Yeah. What do we say about that? That's interesting. So here's the deal. Bad things happen in the world, and they're bad for markets just because they're bad. But also, the media will take something that is a 10 and turn it into a 100. I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that you do have to be careful, because FUD spreads very quickly, and anytime the media can find something to spread FUD about, they will, because that's how they want to get your clicks. So yeah. It is impacting the market, but, you know, it's not necessary. Anyway, we're not going to go into it.
So real quick, I'm looking at chat real quick before we go into super chats. There's a lot of people saying Tim Singh. Guys, we did not get 2,000 likes.
We did not get 2,000 likes.
I will throw you a bone, though. I'm not going to sing on the live show. If you go, I've never done this. If you go follow me on Instagram, very small channel. I never post on there, but there are videos of me singing on my Instagram. It's just Timothy Warren. You'll see a picture of me and my wife. I'm not big enough for anyone to copy me or try to create a fake, so I don't imagine.
Is it Timothy Warren or Timothy Warren 1633?
It is Tim Warren 1633. I'm just looking at my name.
I know your life first.
I feel like you're kind of gonna
listen.
You're doxing us a little bit.
I gave them an option to get me to sing, and we didn't get it.
You're kind of doxing us. Whatever. Keep going.
Maybe in the future. We'll set up other things. Why don't we get Smay to sing? Smay sings.
I mean, now I don't know.
Let's keep moving, guys. We got a show to attend to. We got time for one more, and then we're going to move into Ethereum.
Daryl Austin said, "What do you guys feel about VeChain? I think its utilities are huge and needs for tracking for consumers and business."
VeChain is one of those projects that I used to follow quite a lot. If VeChain is capable of getting the partnerships and the adoption that it needs, it could be huge. But to be honest with you, I haven't heard a lot out of it in the last 2 years. Have tshroom, Kelly, have either of you seen anything coming out of VeChain in the last couple of years?
I mean, VeChain is it's an incredible logistics project, and they have so many partnerships internationally already established. I think what they've done an excellent job doing is maintaining the efficacy of their blockchain, not having many. I can't remember any major issue they had. They've been super consistent, and they've got an incredibly strong community. It's almost like an alternate coin to like Chainlink or one of these other coins that it just has such a steady growth. So I think it's a safe bet. It's a good project. I have some VeChain as well, but I haven't seen any major developments otherwise.
Well, there you go, guys. We're going to go ahead and move now on into a segment on Ethereum because, Ethereum. Ethereum's been mean to me lately, guys. Ethereum keeps doing one thing and then saying another and saying one thing and doing another, and it's just crazy. But, guys, remember about a month ago when Ethereum was in a rising wedge, and we said, hey, guys, be careful about this. It might go to 5K first, but it's probably going to break bearish out of it. That's what we're seeing happen. And over the last 24 hours, but also the last 30 days, we have seen consecutive lower highs. In fact, we've seen 4 lower highs in a row. And if Ethereum didn't drop so far in the last couple of hours, I would have said, hey, look, an inverse head and shoulders pattern could be forming. That is now invalidated. And the thing I want to mainly bring to your attention on Ethereum is that there's a lot of volatility in this. And for any of you traders out there, if you're looking for a relatively safe cryptocurrency that you can if you lose a trade on, you can just say, okay, I'm just going to put it in my investment portfolio and forget about it, and it'll be fine in 5 years, then Ethereum is not a bad choice right now. We're seeing major volatility here. We're jumping 15, 20, 30%. The only issue with Ethereum right now is that this volatility is a little bit hard to predict. Ethereum is a very, very volatile cryptocurrency right now with a seemingly pretty straight trend, but at the same time, you kind of can't really tell when it's going to have one of these giant crashes or giant rallies. We're getting a lot of very strange movement, kind of like what we saw in 2018 when the volume was very low on Bitcoin. We saw a lot of these Bart Simpson patterns. You can see an inverse Bart Simpson right here, another one right there, except he's got kind of a mohawk going on. But the thing I want to show you on the 4-hourly chart for Ethereum is that we are currently in a falling wedge. You can see that based on this downtrending level of resistance right here, and then this downtrending level of support right here. No matter where we go in the next 7 days, if we don't break this downtrending level of support, then there is a good likelihood that we're going to break bullish here. But here's the problem with that. Ethereum is following Bitcoin whether it wants to or not. Ethereum is more resilient than Bitcoin right now. And the reason I believe that is because there's more going on Ethereum. We still have NFTs being a huge thing. We have, apes selling for like $340,000. There's so much going on top of Ethereum that it is helping to maintain its price, whereas Bitcoin is just a store of value that's going to revolutionize the way that humans transact across time and space. But I digress. The point is Ethereum is more interesting to most people right now, and that I think is part of the reason why it's maintaining its value. But so long as Bitcoin is still in a downtrend, Ethereum is going to struggle. And if it does, remember back to what we said. I said this back like over here when Ethereum was up at $4,500. I said the 3 levels that I'm looking for on Ethereum are 1, $3,700. It was the neckline of the inverse head and shoulders pattern. That's where we are right now. We're trying to hold this. And then I told you the same thing 3 weeks ago that I'm telling you now. If we break that, then $3,324 is the next level of support that we will pull back down to. After that, $3,000 is in the cards. Which one of these plays out is going to heavily depend on Bitcoin, so we can't really be terribly certain of which one is going to happen. But I can tell you that Ethereum is definitely going to continue to follow Bitcoin. I do not see Ethereum decoupling from Bitcoin. It might not go as far as Bitcoin, but I would be very surprised to see Ethereum going into a giant rally when Bitcoin is still dropping. So if Bitcoin does continue to move even sideways and down to like $42,000, $43,000, even just like 5% to the downside, Ethereum is probably going to drop down to $3,300. I am still thinking that that's going to happen. I could be totally wrong, maybe with a big rally, but I can say this with quite a bit of confidence. I don't think Ethereum is going to be the one to break the trend. I think Bitcoin will be the one to break the trend, and I don't think that that trend is looking like it's going to break in the next couple of days. One thing I do want to mention here, though, is the RSI is also angling to the downside. If we take a look at here at RSI, you can see that there is a downtrend right here that it is under, but there's also a flat level of support right here. So if you want to do some traditional analysis, you could even say that this is a descending triangle pattern, which is going to push us to the downside. Interesting stuff going on over there. And if we take a look at the MACD, you can see that the MACD is pushing very far to the downside as well. This is a good thing, I would say, though, because if the MACD does continue pushing to the downside like this, then we are likely going to see one of the lowest bullish MACD crosses in the history of Ethereum, which will set us up for explosive movement in January, which, if you've been watching the channel for the last month, is what we've been saying ever since we dropped below 53K on Bitcoin, and we had to reframe our entire mindset on this. We've been saying, okay, December's probably going to be bearish, but then we're going to have quite a bit of bullishness moving into January. That's at least what the charts are telling me. But before I move into some other indicators here on Ethereum, Kelly, I want to hear your take on it. What are the biggest technicals that are jumping out at you on Ethereum right now?
Honestly, the Lux algo, which we'll be diving into in a few minutes, just the huge amount of indecision that's playing out throughout the various patterns on the traditional technical analysis, but also and it goes back to yesterday's stream when we were talking about this this market being at a point where there's so many bullish fundamentals that are underlying, and it's really keeping it where it's at without the bottom falling out from under it. But it's surprising just how bullish it can be in the back end while there's such indecision that's playing out through all the technicals. So I mean, for me, it's just contrary thing after contrary thing that's stacking up. That's just what jumps out. Even when I'm doing the analysis in the morning, writing in for the show prep, every single thing I put in is just almost contrary to the last thing that I analyze. So that's what jumps out to me.
Which I actually think is a very good thing, because no kayaker ever became a skilled kayaker without going down a couple of cataracts and rapids, because the harder it is, the more you're going to learn. I've said this before, the sharper you want your knife, the harder the grinding is going to be on the knife. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now, guys. There's a lot of indecision in the cryptocurrency markets, especially in Ethereum, which does complicate the analysis. Good. I want the analysis to be complicated. You know why? Because it's going to force you to think. We want to teach you not what to think. We want to teach you how to think. And we can't do that on our own. The markets has got to be that. The markets have to be that canvas that you can paint your technical analysis on. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and paint some with Lux Algo. Looking at Lux Algo right now, we have been in a confirmed downtrend with this sell signal using Trend Catcher and Lux Oscillator since the 15th of November. I love Lux Algo because it is very helpful for determining those secondary trends. If we zoom out here, I will point out, and I'm not going to go in and do the back analysis on camera, but I have done it. I'm going to point out the confirmed buy and sell signals, not the invalid ones. I'm going to circle them. These right here are the confirmed buy and sell signals. In the history of this market, there was a fake out right there. There was a strong buy signal right there. I've just gone ahead and circled the only confirmed buy and sell signals in the last year and a half on Lux Algo. Only one of them was a fake out. Every single other one was very much accurate. If you needed another reason to buy Lux Algo, the link is in the description box down below. But anyway, let's look down here on the oscillator because I want to kind of continue with this theme that we've been looking at on Bitcoin. As I said, Bitcoin is leading the drop right now. Ethereum is lagging behind. On Bitcoin, its daily chart oscillator is sitting down here around 12. On Ethereum, daily chart oscillator is sitting here around 28. That tells me that there's more to go to the downside on Ethereum, which matches up with the fact that Ethereum is down 22% and Bitcoin's down, what, 35%, something like that. On Bitcoin, we're also sitting down here on top of the reversal zone. Whereas on Ethereum US dollars, we haven't even gotten there yet. And by the way, remember what we said earlier about how $3,300 was the next level to play on Ethereum? Guess what that also aligns up with? The bottom trend, support zone of Lux Algo. So everything is lining up, as we're saying, for $3,300 on Ethereum, so long as something big doesn't happen on Bitcoin. Now look, the one thing that might invalidate this, there's more than one, but the main thing that might invalidate this is if Bitcoin decides, okay, we're just going to jump to $55,000 tomorrow. If that happens, then yes, what I'm saying on Ethereum might not take place. But if Bitcoin keeps trading sideways, all things are equal in the Bitcoin market, there's not some massive black swan news event, I am extremely confident that we're going to see a $3,300 Ethereum, which is not a bad thing, because I learned the hard way that a drop on Ethereum can be very profitable. When it dropped down to $91, I freaked out. I'm like, oh crap, my Ethereum's down 70%. And then I didn't want to buy it 130 because, I'm so scared. I'm so glad I did, guys. I'm telling you, Ethereum is a good project. It's here to stay. It's the oil to Bitcoin's gold, and it is going to bring you returns in the long term, in my opinion. I can't tell you that for certainty because I don't have a time machine, but I do think that that's the case. With that said, we're going to go ahead and move here into KDA. If anybody knows the band KDA from a certain game, tell me. I would love to see anybody drop their favorite song from them in the chat. But we're not talking about that KDA. We're actually talking about Kadena today. Now, if you don't know what Kadena is, I'm going to throw it over to Kelly. I want him to break down in about 15, 20 seconds, then we're going to jump into the TA. What is Kadena and why are people interested in it? Why is everybody talking about it?
Go for it, Kelly.
You can take this one if you want.
Oh, no, that's all you.
No, Kadena is just, it actually popped on my radar only a few months ago. It just kind of jumped out of the blue. It's incredibly safe and robust smart contract blockchain solution. One of the things that they're really aiming to do, or actually have implemented, is creating ways to really, really cut down transaction costs, especially for businesses that are implementing the blockchain. But it's very energy efficient as they scale it, so it's very scalable. Essentially, it's another competitor in the layer one solution game.
Here's the interesting thing on Kadena, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at it through the lens of Lux Algo. Take a look back here on the history of Lux Algo. We had a strong buy signal that was confirmed that called this rally. We had a strong sell signal that was confirmed that called this downtrend. Right now, several interesting things are taking place here. Number one, Kadena is dropping below the EQ cloud here in Lux Algo, which is this zone right here. Generally speaking, that is going to hold a market, and if it doesn't, then the market's probably going to take the next leg down. That would drop Kadena down to $2.50, so you probably don't want to see that happen, but I think that the bottom is probably higher than that. It's still in price discovery mode as far as I'm concerned. I don't think this is done with its initial foundation laying like we saw in Cardano earlier in the year, but what I can tell you is this: there are actually a lot of very bullish things happening on the technicals. The MACD looks like it's about to cross bullish on the daily chart. If we take a look at Lux Oscillator, you can see that Lux Oscillator dropped all the way down to 7.5. When we talk about Bitcoin being overextended at 13.5, Lux Oscillator right now is telling you that this is a buy. That doesn't mean you should buy, but that is one indicator that's telling you that you could. Another thing to take a look at here on the daily chart is that we are attempting to get above the trend catcher right here. And if we just go ahead and turn off Lux Oscillator here, you're also going to see something which is pretty interesting. We saw a decent sized rally over the last 3 days. But the thing that does concern me is this large upper shadow here. This is what's known as a shooting star formation. You want to be very careful trading with those. But we also saw a hammer formation right down here that called an uptrend. So there's some conflicting TA going on. The majority of it seems to be bullish. And the last thing I'll mention here is that we are in a falling trading channel on Cadena. If this breaks to the upside and we turn this downtrend into support, which we almost invariably will in the future, then that could be a very good thing. I think what you need to look at on Cadena is, yes, the chart, but I think since this is such a young project that, by the way, is down quite a bit today, since this is such a young project, a lot of whether or not you want to invest in this, I would say, is not going to be based so much on technicals as it would be on fundamentals, and I will leave that to future content for us to discuss because we got to keep moving here. The next one we're going to look at here is Luna, Terra Luna. If you guys don't know what Luna is, I'm really excited about the project. I'm thinking about buying some Luna. It is, as far as I'm aware, the first, and it's definitely the largest algorithmic stablecoin project in the cryptocurrency space that seems to have a lot of adoption. So as I said earlier with stablecoins, stablecoins have to manipulate their circulating supply to keep the price at zero. Luna is the native cryptocurrency on the blockchain, and I believe it's Terra, which is actually the stablecoin for the US dollar. Am I saying that right, Kelly? You know that a little bit better than I do. UST is.
Yeah. UST is their stable pairing.
And the cool thing about what Terra Luna is doing is that they're trying to build algorithmic stablecoins for a vast array of fiat currencies. They're trying to do it for a lot of other currencies, like I believe they're trying to do it for the Euro, Great British Pound, a lot of things going on over there. And as Kelly and I were talking about earlier today, because of the nature of how Terra Luna is set up, it is probably going to be one of the most resilient to regulation because it is seemingly more decentralized, because it is more algorithmic. There's not as much of a central authority there, and they're not stepping on the toes of regulators as much as you might see from some of these other coins. I've said this for the last 5 years, guys, or 4.5 years. When the cryptocurrency regulation comes, one of the two things that they're going to go for are they're going to go for privacy coins, because you can theoretically money launder on them. So I'm talking about your Moneros and your Zcashes, and they're going to come for stable coins because people will trade in and out of stable coins for the sake of not paying their taxes on it. It's stupid. They know what you're doing, but they are probably going to try and come for those stable coins. So just realize that when regulation starts becoming a bigger question in the cryptocurrency space, which is surprising it hasn't already, stable coins and privacy coins are going to be the ones under fire, and Terra looks like it will be the one that is the most resilient against it. So, excuse me, Luna would be.
If I can make a comment on that too, one of the interesting things about that to keep in mind is with the UST, if it does play out this the way that we could hope and expecting, where it becomes and it shows more resilience in terms of regulation that comes down internationally, and various government organizations regulating out, whether it be Tether or USDC or whatever it is, as people will start moving into that stablecoin project, just as a pairing, just for pairings on their trading platforms and managing their portfolios. As the UST gets printed, it also causes a burn on the Luna side of the token. So if you were going to be dancing in that sort of part of the arena, it would be wise to also bolster your portfolio by also investing in Luna, because you're basically investing in something and using the stablecoin that will, basically pump up your bags even further. It's a really good pairing.
Interesting.
Well, guys, the last and most important Twitter post that I need to show you comes from tshroom's Twitter. Inflation has been spotted at Dollar Tree. Everything at Dollar Tree is now priced at $1.25.
Well,
No!
not everything. And that's the interesting part. It's not everything. It's just certain items.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I don't understand how Dollar Tree makes its money, because surely these products cost more than $1 to make. Are they that low quality? Like, I've been in a Dollar Tree like once in the last year.
They are that low quality.
Okay,
and they buy surplus or open box stuff from other stores.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, well, guys, inflation is coming. If you guys are like 100, you might remember the nickel store or the dime store. I'm pretty sure that used to be a thing. like back in Tim's time. No, I'm joking. But let's go ahead and move into a period of.
I'm not even the oldest person on set.
His time, that would make me ancient.
I was gonna say
8 years.
Oh no, Kelly. They didn't have stores when you were born.
I invented the
They just
wheel.
bartered.
I invented the
You went out in the
wheel, but
woods
Kelly
like a big
invented
stone
fire,
club,
you
you
know?
know? I'm joking.
I was lively in here today.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at some super chats. I know we got some.
Yes.
And by the way, guys, we very much appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, the reason that we do what we do is because we want to teach you what to think. Excuse me, how to think, not what to think.
Ooh, yes.
We want to make sure you are learning how to think, not what to think. We don't want to be the moral arbiters and the judges of what you are supposed to think. We want to teach you how to think. Yes, absolutely.
No, I said this in chat real quick, and I'll say it again. I love that people are in here posting their opinions. However, I want to say to everyone who is watching those opinions, everyone is entitled to their opinions, but who you should be looking for is someone who shows you how they got to their conclusions.
Yep.
Not just spitting out their ideas, because at the end of the day, I can give you a fish or I can teach you how to fish. Which one is more valuable? I can give you an opinion or I can show you how to form an opinion. And it's those people you should attach yourself to. Because I can tell you right now, in my life, I've had so many great leaders, so many people who have taught me things. And it's not just affirmative things. I have learned things from teachers where I'm like, oh, they did that wrong. I'm going to do it this way. But the reason I knew that was because of other concepts they taught me. So they taught me how to think for myself. So in chat, I love the opinions. Keep them coming. But just know, don't just listen to opinions. Listen to how opinions were formed.
Crypto Sensei in chat said he's so old he got an autographed Bible. That's funny.
Listen, I would love an autographed Bible.
I would
But
love an
let's move
autographed
forward.
Bible.
Mike Markle just upgraded his membership to a Jebbi Padawan. So,
Oh, wow,
Mike,
thank
thank
you.
you so much. Look for stuff happening in that community, by
Yeah.
the way. We're going to make some big moves over there. So, really excited about that group. David Merhoff said, what are your thoughts on compound long term?
Compound. Has anybody here looked into Compound? It's not one that's in my wheelhouse. I guess that's a no. I'm sorry, man.
I
I'm
do,
sorry,
but
David.
it's not in my brain right now. I used to,
David Orozco said, morning, guys. God bless. Love the channel. Keep doing what you're
bless
doing.
you.
Question, what's worst for society, meme coins or pineapple pizza?
Pineapple pizza, absolutely. I mean,
that's a
look.
good one.
No, listen. Meme coins will wipe out your finances if you put your life savings into it. Meme coins will lose your retirement, but pineapple pizza, that will tear apart families.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen the arguments around pineapple pizza?
Pineapple pizza.
You got to be careful with that stuff. Like, that's dangerous.
Wait,
well,
first of all,
it's not pizza if it has pineapple.
That's
we
true.
need to weed out. We need to weed out the imposter here. Who in this room is actually somewhat a fan of pineapple pizza?
Yeah.
It sounds like
Yeah,
that
I knew
table
it.
over
He
there.
got real quiet. He
Oh,
got real
gosh.
quiet.
That's what that smell is over
I'm
there.
pro pineapple.
That's what make him
pineapple.
stinky. Like he likes pineapple pizza. Pineapple pizza. He stinks.
Keep
out.
moving on. We got one from Jason Clark saying, for that voice, I just checked it out. Haha, it's higher. It's higher, but it's lovely, good sir. Remind me of Ed Sheeran.
Oh, yeah.
Jeb, thoughts on
I've told you
pyramid
that
swing
before, Tim.
trading?
What is it?
Thoughts on pyramid swing trading?
Pyramid. Pyramid schemes? Oh, yeah. Pyramid schemes. Great.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm assuming that's a swing trading strategy that I've never heard of. I just swing
Probably
trade.
swing trading pyramid.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Tim, your wife likes pineapple pizza. Did you know that before you got married?
Listen, I love Taylor. Taylor is not the foremost expert on food. I would not try food just because Taylor happens to eat it. She will eat a lot of things that are very.
Wait, that means both of the Taylors on staff like pineapple pizza.
I think
That's gonna be
That's a Taylor thing.
This is gonna be a dark area. When we switch over to that table.
Yeah,
In the
it's just
future.
gonna be both of them like
Yeah.
pineapple pizza. It's like you can feel some kind of
We'll
presence
call it
over there.
the pineapple pizza
And
table.
that's all we're going to talk about too. It's the only thing we're going to ever answer any
Guys, I
questions
had the meanest Papa John's.
All right, let's keep moving. Let's keep
pineapple
moving here. Let's
pizza
keep
the
moving
other
here.
day.
No, but so we don't have an answer to the pyramid swing trading.
on. No.
Are there any more?
Sorry, Jason. No,
Sorry,
that's
man.
all the super chats I see.
Oh,
Let me make
okay.
sure I didn't miss any, but that's all
Well,
that I saw.
speaking of meme coins, I got a question here for you from yesterday's comments. James Heathcock commented this, and I think it's a good question. Tim, is the U.S. dollar the world's meme coin?
Ooh.
that's a
No,
good
for real
question.
though.
No. I mean, I would give a joke answer, but no. Obviously, the U.S. dollar is for a lot of countries the backbone. But that's why El Salvador switched, because they were tired of using it. So for El
Well, they
Salvador,
still
the
use
answer
the
is
U.S.
yes.
dollar.
you
They
know?
just use Bitcoin too.
Might I?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hear it.
If you think that Doge and Shiba get pumped, have a pump community, right? And it's overinflated. There's an entire institution called the Federal Reserve. Day in and day out, these people are graduating from Georgetown, UCLA, and they're going to work for the pump nation that is the federal pump nation.
I did enjoy the memes where like Doge was getting really attacked, and it's like Dogecoin is being attacked for having no cap on there,
and then the dollar's
and then it's like the federal government sitting in the corner, like.
Well, like, or even USDT. You know, they had this whole issue for a while where they were getting taken to court and stuff because they potentially didn't have each coin backed by.
Yeah, backed.
I'm like, U.S. dollar. We haven't been backed by anything.
We've been backed by crap in forever.
Years.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just following
We're
the
backed
lead.
by military power. That's it.
Yeah,
Which is
stinking U.S. dollar. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, for real. Well, Tim, I think that the U.S. dollar is absolutely a meme coin because it is funny and it makes me sad. So, Tim, I got another question for you here.
Yes.
Is Ethereum as a leading indicator for Bitcoin, or, and I'll add to this, is Bitcoin a leading indicator for Ethereum?
Currently, like right now.
Sure. Yeah, in the next 3 months, how's it gonna play? Because sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other.
Next 3 months, I don't know the answer to that. I don't even think I want to stab at that one, but I do think Bitcoin is the leading indicator right now.
Yeah.
I mean, go look at CoinMarketCap in terms of Bitcoin dominance. This is something I've been watching a lot. We dipped to 39% for Bitcoin's dominance, but now we're back up. We are hovering right at that 41.1. To me, what that says is the fact that we've been staying right at that level, the entire market is neither gaining nor losing on Bitcoin. So in reality, it looks like whatever Bitcoin is doing, the rest of the market wants to follow.
Well, let me ask you a follow-up question to that because I would totally agree. Do you think it is an intrinsically good thing for the cryptocurrency market that Ethereum has been? I mean, jump on my chart really quickly. You can see here Ethereum in January, February, March, April of last year was sitting at 9% market dominance. Now it's sitting at 21%. Do you think it's an intrinsically good thing that Ethereum has that much market dominance? Does it make the market more stable and resistant to bear markets?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bitcoin having way too much. I actually really like Bitcoin sitting around 40%, or maybe even dipping a little lower, holding there. I like the fact that DeFi as a whole, that crypto as a whole, is growing, and Ethereum is starting to share some of that weight. You're going to have different things. For example, like depending on who you talk to, I was watching a video yesterday where there's a slew of people who are very wealthy, very well known, who are talking about how Ethereum will never be Bitcoin because Bitcoin's value is just the sake that it's going to be Bitcoin is going to be something that builds up monetary value, whereas Ethereum is also monetary value, but it really is going after applications. Same with Cardano, same with Solana. It's almost like in the future, we're going to have money backed by Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will be the stabilizer for money. And these other altcoins, while they do have monetary value, are going to be a lot more like a company that you invest in and you have holdings in because they actually help our world continue to develop and get better and get stronger. So in reality, there's going to be a certain point where I think we stop doing this comparison of, is Ethereum about to jump Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin going to hold? I think it's going to be, wow, when I'm thinking about my money, I'm thinking about Bitcoin. When I'm thinking about my applications and how my office works and how my business works, man, what projects am I set up with and what applications am I using? Ethereum is killing it right now, and all the layer 2 solutions are killing it. I want to use that platform.
Well, let me ask the research table over here another question that follows up to that. Safadine Amos, in his bestseller, The Bitcoin Standard, believes that Bitcoin will become the world reserve currency status, hence the name, the backing of the global currencies around the world, hence the name, the Bitcoin Standard. Would you two agree with the idea that Bitcoin might not become the world currency that we use because of its scalability issues, but that in some way in the next 20 to 30, 40 years, it would become the standard like how we had the gold standard?
Go for it.
Yes, I definitely think so. I think that the people will speak with their money, with their value that they've earned. You know, the units of hours that they've toiled and the value that they've earned for that by bringing value to the market in exchange for value to their wallets. I think that they will choose over time. They will have the blinders taken off their eyes, so to speak, and they will put their value into a more efficient currency. And it will be backed by Bitcoin. I actually had never thought about, Tim, what you were saying, how there'll be new currencies backed by Bitcoin. I think that's a really interesting concept.
You know, I mean, people have said that for a while now. Bitcoin is going to become the next gold. And take away all the evilness in the world. When the world was the most economically stable, what was it backed by? Gold. Bitcoin is the digital gold. Good, solid money in the future will be backed by Bitcoin. I think I agree with people saying we might not be walking around trading Satoshis for everything, but I do think we're going to be trading some form of a digital currency that is backed by Bitcoin somewhere along the lines, and that'll keep banks honest. It'll keep people honest. It'll make people financially responsible, and because of that, it will grow the world economy and will bring back power to the little man and not so much power at the top.
Yeah.
But and I also think that one of the things we have to keep in mind is the evolution and the revolution that's taken place within the entire cryptocurrency industry, Bitcoin, kicking that off, is there's no way that we can really even scale it in our mind to really draw out some sort of roadmap of how and what's going to happen. Whether it be just the volatility becomes much smaller over the course of the next 25 years, and the Lightning Network takes off, or the 100 or 1,000 other things that develop on top of on top of Bitcoin that make it be able to be a usable daily traded currency. There's no way to tell. I think right now definitely it is a more of a store of value, but there's no way to project and predict how that's going to be transacted and volatility, use, all this sort of stuff. But you said it perfectly earlier, Tim, with Ethereum or all the layer one solutions with smart contracts. The major benefit those have separate from Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin is going to be able to have smart contracts and this sort of thing, but these layer one solutions, they are integrating into our everyday processes of every part of our business. So there's such a security in that in terms of the longevity of those sorts of projects that do build consistency and community and, just make it happen. I'm just excited for this whole next 15 years.
I am too, man. It's going to be a great decade. But let's go ahead and read these final super chats, and then we're going to wrap it out here.
Yeah, did we ever officially announce the winner of the Huddle Trophy, by the way?
Oh, no, we haven't.
We mentioned in passing, but I don't think that we actually. I don't think people actually know who won. We'll get that.
No,
we'll read the super chats and then we'll.
I mentioned that we were gonna read the Grandmasters.
Maybe we didn't. Maybe my brain mentioned in passing. But we have one here from Matt C, who said, "I just wanted to wish all of you a great weekend and thank you for all of your content.
Aww.
Bitcoin is ranging and setting up for a nice run in the next few weeks. Keep accumulating."
I totally agree with you, man.
Speaking of, guys, we're sitting at 46.4. The day's not over, so I still want to see things, but this is kind of what we're talking about. Wicks and candle bodies closing are completely different things.
Absolutely.
All right, we got two more super chats. Okay, two more super chats from the same person, Joel Young. What's funny, I don't think it's the same person. I had a teammate on my football team in high school named Joel Young, but I don't know if it's the same person or not. If it is Joel, let me know. But
did he watch the 9 touchdowns?
He did not. He played offensive and defensive line.
Oh, gotcha.
So not many. He might have scored like 1 touchdown. What do you think about Dogelon Mars? Is it a good coin to buy? And what is your opinion on it, please? I need help.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Don't really know too much about it.
First step to fixing an issue is asking a question and finding out you might have a problem.
You need to go to Altcoins Anonymous, my friend.
Man.
Anywho, no, I'm joking. I haven't looked into it too much. I've heard talk about it, but I'm not going to invest in anything that has Elon's name in it. I'm not going to invest in anything that has to do with Dogecoin, personally.
Or the word Inu.
Or the word Inu. Do we have any more?
I'm looking. So that is all our super chats. I want to make sure there's no good questions that came in here at the end.
Well,
I think that's
we
good.
have to announce the HODL Trophy, and then we will go ahead and wrap it out here.
So David Orozco did say HODL Trophy losers should have to eat pineapple pizza.
Well, 3 of you guys will enjoy it, but I won't have to because I won.
tshroom is going to want to lose every single week.
He's going to want to lose. Would you rather have a large pineapple pizza from your favorite restaurant, or would you rather have the HODL Trophy, tshroom? What would you rather have?
HODL Trophy. The HODL Trophy is one of the most prestigious.
It is.
It really is.
The HODL Trophy lasts for a week.
Yep.
Pineapple pizza would last for a couple of hours.
And it's carved and minted from unobtainium, which is a very hard.
And by the way, the Thanos glove here has all the altcoins. It's got the Polkadot, it's got the Cardano, the Binance coin, the Ethereum, the Bitcoin, and the VeChain. How about that? We got VeChain on here today.
I'm just disappointed because literally
close up of this.
I did my TA so well this week. The price did just about exactly what I thought. Just the timing of it.
What can I say?
Can we start calling the BLX? Because I would have won that one.
Well, that wasn't at 9:30, so that was at 8 o'clock last night. If you enjoyed today's show, guys, make sure to hit that like button. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're the fastest growing cryptocurrency technical analysis channel on the interwebs, and we're very, very appreciative of all of your continued support. It would not be possible without you, and we wouldn't have a reason to do it without you, so thank you so very much. Make sure to sign up for Lux Algo down below. You've seen me use it all throughout the the stream today. The reason that we are sponsored by Lux Algo is because we firmly believe in the product, and even if we didn't have a YouTube channel, even if it wasn't a sponsor of ours, we would be using it every single day because we, here on our research team, and myself included, we find it very helpful in predicting and analyzing what the markets are doing and where they're going next. And also make sure to go and follow me on Crypto Jebb over on Twitter and at Crypto Jebb over on Twitter, and retweet the trailer for this show. Hashtag Coffee and Crypto, retweet it so that we can get that trending. Thank you guys so very much for watching. We got a really cool video coming out tomorrow. We actually interviewed our CPA, and we talked about how to legally dodge taxes. I'm not kidding. So stay tuned for that video so you can find out how to legally not pay taxes. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow with our financial advisor here on the channel. That'll be going up 9:30 Eastern sharp tomorrow. Have a great weekend, guys. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.